A few years ago, I was in a dark place. I didn't know exactly what was wrong, but everything seemed off. My mental health was at an all-time low, and I felt like I was walking through life in a fog, unable to shake it. I had lost interest in the things I once loved and could barely bring myself to leave the house. I wasn't doing anything harmful, but I wasn't living either. I had isolated myself from friends, and my family didn't understand what I was going through. They tried, but they couldn't reach me. I felt alone, even when I was surrounded by people. One rainy afternoon, I felt especially drained. The kind of day when everything feels heavy, when you don't know how to escape the weight of your thoughts. I spent hours locked in my room, scrolling aimlessly through my phone, watching TV. I hated it, but I didn't know how to break free. I couldn't keep living like this. In a moment of desperation, I decided to go for a walk. Not because I had a destination in mind, but because I just needed to move, to breathe, to feel like I wasn't suffocating in my own mind. I left the house and wandered through my neighborhood, eventually ending up at a small park nearby. It was quiet, peaceful, with a light drizzle falling, making the world feel soft. I sat on a bench, hoping to find some sense of calm. That's when I saw them, a group of strangers sitting together on a bench, laughing, talking, enjoying each other's company. They seemed so carefree, their warmth and laughter a stark contrast to the numbness I felt inside. I watched from a distance, feeling disconnected from their happiness, wishing I could feel that lightness. I didn't want to interrupt, so I stayed where I was, trying to remain invisible. Then, something unexpected happened. A woman with bright red hair and a warm smile noticed me sitting alone. She waved me over. I hesitated. It wasn't every day that a stranger reached out like that, especially when I felt like such an outsider. But her kindness was genuine, and for the first time in a long while, I felt a flicker of hope. I got up and walked over. Her name was Emily, and she greeted me warmly. "Hey, are you okay?" she asked. "We're just hanging out. Want to join us?" I didn't really know how to explain that I wasn't okay. I mumbled something about being out for a walk, not knowing what to say. But Emily didn't push. She invited me to sit down, and the others in the group, 3 guys and another woman, welcomed me with open arms. They offered me snacks, started chatting about their day, and asked me about myself. There was no pressure, no judgment. They simply made me feel like I belonged. At first, I barely spoke. I listened to their jokes and stories, laughing with them for the first time in ages. Their laughter was contagious, and for a brief moment, I remembered what it was like to feel joy. Emily then asked gently, "What brought you to the park today?" It wasn't a probing question, just an invitation to share. I found myself opening up, telling them about the isolation and sadness I had been carrying, and instead of offering advice or pity, they listened. They just listened. That night, I stayed at the park longer than I expected. We lay on the grass, looking up at the stars, talking about our lives. I didn't feel alone anymore. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I was part of something. The next week, I went back to the park. And the week after that. They were always there, and every time I returned, I was welcomed. Over time, I began sharing more about myself, about the struggles with depression and anxiety that had kept me in the dark for so long. They didn't judge me. They didn't tell me to just snap out of it. They simply offered their friendship, and it made all the difference. One of the guys, Josh, started inviting me for coffee after the park hangouts. Those coffee dates became a routine. Slowly, I began to find joy in the little things again. The laughter, the shared stories, the simple connection that had been missing for so long. That group of strangers became my support system. They didn't fix everything, but they gave me something invaluable, the reminder that I wasn't alone. They showed me that kindness can come from unexpected places, and that even the smallest gestures can change someone's life. It's been a few years now, and I'm in a much better place mentally. I've learned to manage my depression and anxiety, and I've become close friends with those people. We still meet at the park sometimes, and I'll always be grateful to the strangers who saved me when I was at my lowest. Like and subscribe for more stories.